This frolicsome 14-weeks-old puppy would delight any small child. But when he's full grown, he could strike terror into the hearts of the most hardy. 40 German Shepherd dogs live in these well-appointed kennels at the RAAF's giant stores depot at Tottenham, a Melbourne suburb. The kennels are spick and span. Their day starts punctually at 8 a.m. with breakfast, and the kennels are thoroughly cleaned. Then it's all out for a spot of exercise. While the first of the dogs are in the exercise yard, other members of the kennels are groomed. Teeth, ears and paws are inspected, and their coats are combed and brushed. Sometimes a dog's feet become tender through walking on unfamiliar concrete, so boots are fitted for a few days. Morning chores over, the dogs are marched out by their handlers for a solid day's training to fit them for their future life as guardians of RAAF property throughout Australia. The dogs are taught to hurdle, scale walls. At first they're clumsy, but they learn quickly, and practice makes perfect. Fire holds no fear for the dogs as their training progresses, and eventually they're put through their routine without the coaxing of the lead. Like any well-trained member of the RAAF, discipline plays an important part. This pure white specimen has reached perfection and obeys its handler's every command. Ultimately, the dogs reach the stage of their 10-week training period when they're taught to attack. Woe betide the prowler who is faced with an RAAF guard dog. The animals are taught to seize prowlers by the wrist, but will break off the attack when ordered by the handler. Tracking on scent, the hastily discarded pistol is soon found. Training over, the dogs are rubbed down, returned to the kennels and fed. At sundown, fully trained dogs are paraded with their handlers for inspection before going on night patrol. RAAF security guards and their faithful one-man dogs will ensure that RAAF property throughout Australia is well protected. It was north to Lae in New Guinea for Hercules transports carrying Bell Iroquois helicopters of the RAAF. The helicopters were to carry out tropical trials. Natives and Europeans alike had gathered to see the Hercules land and to get their first look at the new helicopters, which were making their first flight outside Australia. helicopters were reassembled, ready for 6 days of hard work in the rugged mountains of inland New Guinea. Next morning, as the mountain mists of Lae were rising, the helicopters were also lifting off to fly the treacherous route up the Markham Valley to Goroka, 7,000 feet above sea level. The breathtaking beauty of the Markham Valley far below was the scene for thousands of Australian servicemen of some of the bloodiest battles of World War II. The 10,000-foot mist-shrouded razorbacks near Goroka are the graveyards of many aircraft, some missing without trace in the giant timbers. At Goroka, the operations centre for the Iroquois, the machines were refueled. The following day, a series of trials designed to test machine and man began in earnest. Before each flight, a careful check of maps of the rugged terrain was made by the air crews. Accurate navigation in this type of country is vital. Looking like giant mosquitoes, the helicopters quickly climbed out of sight, and from now on it was a bird's eye view of some of the world's most rugged and primitive country. Many hundreds of hours' experience stand by the young RAAF pilots as they practice landings on the treacherous pinnacles. Strong winds here could send men and machines crashing thousands of feet into the steep river valleys snaking through the jungle. An important role for the Iroquois squadrons at RAAF Fairbairn, Canberra, is search and rescue. New Guinea gave the crews a unique opportunity to carry out rescue trials under some of the worst conditions ever likely to be met. Every child the world over loves an aircraft, and these delightful young natives at a school at Goroka were no exception. The adults, too, crowded around the machines for a close-up look, and the local witch doctor, resplendent in his best regalia and carrying a wicked-looking bow and arrows, quickly asserted his authority over his people. Of course, no overseas visit would be complete without some pictures for the folks back home. As the trials continued, the young Australian airman made many friends among the natives, and gifts were always welcome. Finally, the crews set off to return home, much more experienced for their venture in New Guinea.